Smell what the rock is cooking. Welcome to Chain Reaction 3. What promises to be a fantastic evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the remixed main intro video and the Chain Reaction video. We're starting to actually get to realize some of the initial dreams on what we can do. And I think if you stop and look at this, what's on the screen in front of you, with the opening image to this show, I think you can see where we're going and how awesome the future looks from just a graphical perspective. Well, if you want to watch them again on YouTube, I need to remember to upload them to YouTube. So, but actually, I think Dean can do that and has that video. So, yeah. So we're here for Chain Reaction. Gonna be a hot ass show. I think there aren't that many matches, maybe 5 or 6, but shit, the Chain Reaction match, 3 people on each team, 4 teams, 12 people, elimination match. It's gonna be huge. 6 matches. So let's go ahead and jump into the show, man. I think there'll be plenty to talk about as we go. Man, love how this Jackson Cade came out. Came out great. All right, cool. So let's get cooking. First segment up. Cade Bros and Papa. 6 the number of the beast. Kane and Abel 2, remember last week. It looks like CJ just blew Jack's head off. But let's see. Let's see what's happening here. We start off with our usual static and a play symbol appearing in the bottom right-hand corner. We get gasping. It's pure, unadulterated panic. CJ Thorpe looks at the gun in his hand with utter shock. It's shaking. He drops the gun and falls backwards, slapping against the wall. His breath is heavy. His heart is racing. His brother is fucking furious. Jackson Cade turns around and grabs him immediately by the throat, squeezing as hard as he can. CJ is too shocked to fight back. He just stands there, mouth agape. Thank all that is holy for that. Jackson Cade is alive. That's a shame. I thought the coward had finally done a deed worthy of my respect. It's the voice of his father that calls Jackson off. George storms into frame, pushing Jackson back and picking up the dropped weapon. Cade quickly gets in his brother's face. As we can see here, spoiler alert, we're going to get to see some fine-ass images throughout this show. Blanks, he says defiantly. CJ doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. They were fucking blanks, son. Jackson angrily steps backwards, hands on his hips, still in a mire of disbelief and fury. I can't fucking believe you tried to kill me. I'm your fucking brother. CJ doesn't look like a man caught trying to murder his own brother. Look at him, he's distraught. A masterclass in acting, I'm sure. George Thorpe tries to reason. He can't get his words out. George shakes his head, putting the gun in his waistband. I'd hoped you'd changed, he says sternly, scolding his son. I'd hoped that becoming champion would have made a difference. But you're the same petulant little prick you've always been. If your mother could see this. Ooh, that's deep. That's hard. Dad, stop, CJ pleads, tears now streaming down his face. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't. I swear it. Jackson has heard enough. He waves away the pleas and storms off, leaving his dad to stand before his brother, shaking his head. You're no son of mine, George announces angrily. With Jackson having left, George follows shortly on behind, leaving CJ to fall from standing to seated in a slump against the wall. He puts his head in his hands, knowing that in just a week from this moment he must defend his title against the brother he could have killed. I gotta say, Ruby, I gotta believe CJ here. I don't know what happened, but I don't think he quite tried to kill his brother. That's because you like to see the good in people, Bronco. I don't see any good in you. As we cut away. Well, hot damn. Did CJ pull the trigger? Didn't he? I mean, the other question is, why the hell were there blanks in the gun that Jackson gave him? What the hell, man? What the hell? I don't think we're quite done with this story here. But damn, you're no son of mine. Ooh, that bites deep. What's next? We got a match. Debut match. Reverend Ezekiel Graves versus Mamako Honda. She is real. Got that. I'm using my mouse and y'all can't see it, but she is staring at a hole through him. That's great. We've got our debut match between these two individuals. Hey, Bronco! A schoolgirl and a priest step into the ring. I'm not sure I like where this joke is going. Mikey, you just completely took me off guard. I wasn't ready for that. Well, I'm not sure where this joke is going. It's not a joke, old man. It's our next match as pretty young thing Mamako Honda takes on Reverend Ezekiel Graves, as these two newcomers will joust to see who starts their run in OSW with the wind at their backs. Referee River Moonfoot calls for the bell. Is this a Brino match? He always loves to call out the refs. Referee River Moonfoot calls for the bell, and we're underway. Honda rushes in at the Harbinger with a flying head scissors. Nope! Graves counters the move into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, slamming the smaller woman off his knee with a dull thud and using his larger stature. He does it again, slamming her back off his knee. Once, twice, thrice, and it sure as hell wasn't nice. As the Apostle of Wrath proves his name, turning one tilt-a-whirl backbreaker into 3 additional pendulum backbreakers before releasing the People's Champion, sending her sprawling. A scary display of power by Reverend Graves. Hello, Evie, who I'm sure is using Casey's account. The Purifier begins wringing his shoulders, shouting at Mamako to get back to her feet, watching her stagger back to her feet. Lariat! Ducked by Mamako, who snaps back to life, hitting the ropes. Crack! A shining fucking wizard. The tsunami strike sends waves of pain through the face of the Harbinger. You go, girl! I know you'll chase anything in a skirt, but you're taking it a bit far, aren't you? Graves drops to one knee, stunned by Honda, who starts laying with shin kicks to the chest of the Reverend, as the crowd counts him off. 1, 2, 3, 4! Mamako backs off as the crowd's anticipation. It swells into a dull rumble, and she looks to cap it off with a buzzsaw kick to the back of the skull. Whiff! She whiffs it. A fucking lariat out of nowhere knocks the Star Warrior ass over tea kettle and onto her stomach. The Harbinger lets out a primal scream, standing up and staring down at his foe before... Bam! Graves slams his heel into the small of the People's Champ's back. Bam! Bam! A third! 3 more times to the small of the back, before the Reverend mounts the Star Warrior, pulls her up and locks her jaw in place. She lets out a blood-curdling scream as the Harbinger sits back into the Camel Clutch. He's got her in the Camel Clutch. The Confession is what that's called. It's locked in tight. Locked in tight. This is a great one. I love this one. My glass just broke here at ringside from that scream of pain from Mamako. Yeah, I've got white wine and orange juice all over my new jacket. Seriously? A mimosa? Matt, we have a job to do out here. And as long as it's with you, I have it in my contract. I don't want to do it sober. Reverend Graves bears down on the hold, whispering in the ear of Mamako to confess her sins, continuing to wrench on her neck. However, all she can do is writhe in pain as the Star Warrior's voice and struggle begin to fade. Moonfoot, the ref, is there and lifts Mamako's arm. And it drops against the thigh of the Apostle of Wrath. 1. Moonfoot lifts the arm again. Then it falls. 2. River grabs the arm once again and lifts it up. For the final time, is it? Maybe. No! Honda slips out the back and onto hers, and in one fluid motion takes the Harbinger to Dick Kick City, with an up kick to the loins, crossing his eyes and dropping him to his knees. Zeus H. Christ, I felt that over here. Mamako hits the ropes. Crack! Another shining wizard. The second tsunami strike to the base of the Purifier's skull. Graves stumbles to the ground. Mamako goes for the pin. River's there for the count. 1, 2. Is this it? Is it over? No! Kick out with authority. The Harbinger springs back to life, aggressively slapping his hand around the throat of the Star Warrior. A giant by Zeus Goozle. The Harbinger stands up, dragging Momoko up with him, lifts her high up into the air, driving her down with a massive fucking choke slam. The final judgment. It nearly drives the Star Warrior through the canvas and into the cover. River slides into the position. 1, 2, 3. What a huge figure, or a huge victory for the newest religious figure in OSW. I'll go comfort Momoko in her loss. She deserves to see a gentle face when she wakes up. Your winner in their debut match, Ezekiel Graves. Congratulations to the Reverend. I love seeing all the new people around. I think jump in, have fun, enjoy it. And it's be great to have some new blood in here. You're going to have to take that up with Mr. Ruby, Mikey. Next up. Well, look at that. All of our newcomers here in a segment entitled Clusterfuck. All right, so we got Chef Andre, Josh Conway, Momoko Honda, and Reverend Ezekiel Graves here. Ezekiel Graves has done it. What a debut victory for the newest man on the old school wrestling roster. He gets back to his feet and paces around the ring, demanding a microphone. Women such as this, spouting inane fallacies about space and stars, insults the one true God, he says breathlessly, still tired from his match. She must prepare for salvation or face the wrath of divine judgment. What say you, Momoko? He's a persistent little so-and-so, isn't he? He's trying to save people, Double B. You have to respect that. No, I don't. She slowly gets back to her feet, dusting herself off. Graves pushes the microphone towards her mouth. Only she shakes her head. I won't be bullied by the likes of you, Ezekiel. I, too, have a greater purpose, she defiantly says, refusing to back down. Graves grimaces. Suddenly, Freaks and Geeks by Childish Gambino plays loudly over the arena's sound system, and the chef standing at the entrance of the ramp, holding a frying pan over a pyro flame, simulating something frying up. Wait a dang minute, that's Chef Andre. This kid is amazing, Matt. He's one of the hottest tickets in town, and screw him. I've been trying to get a table at his restaurant for weeks, and it's always fully booked. He drops the pan and marches down the aisle, slapping hands with the fans. He hops up those ring steps and props himself into the ring. He puts both hands in the air to let Grave know he's not here to fight. Relax, big man, relax, he says with a toothy smile and a toothpick in his mouth. I could see how this was about to go down and thought I'd offer my services to resolve matters before they take a turn. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chef Dre Cooks, chant the fan in unison, making him smile. Listen to that crowd. I'd like to offer you both a table at my smash restaurant. Let him cook. How about it? Let's drop the space and God talk, shall we? He offers with a big smile. How is it he has a table for these two morons? But not me, I'm Matt Ruby, damn it. Ezekiel hasn't stopped grimacing the entire time. Is this a joke to you? Is our Lord and Savior a joke? He growls. Just then, plowed by Sponge hits the speakers. Josh Conway comes into view with a warm smile. He surveys the crowd and makes a walk to the ring, nodding with the audience's cheers as he does. Oh wow, another debut? Josh Conway arrives in OSW, folks. The North Star is somewhat of a miracle around these parts. For those who don't know, he has a huge following. He's an upstanding pillar of the community. Look at these four in the ring. And a pussy. You're telling me he's a pussy? I dare you to say that to his face. Take a look at these folks. Our four newcomers. We've got Ezekiel Graves on the left, Josh Conway to the right of him, Chef Andre to the right of him, and Momoko Honda on the far right, looking very pouty. What is this? Graves roars angrily. Conway smiles, retrieving a microphone of his own. You seem a little angry, Zeke. You've had a fantastic offer of a free meal from what I can only assume is a wunderkind of the food industry. But you seem hell-bent on making this poor woman submit to your Lord and Savior. The use of the word hell immediately angers the Reverend, who rushes at him, swinging with the right hand that stumbles Conway backwards. Josh hits the corner with a thud, barely able to hear Graves scream the word blasphemy as he storms in. Bring my mic down. I think it's too loud. I'm getting redlining. Big boot to the face. Conway stumbles him backwards. Straight into Monaco. It's okay, Casey. Honda catches an elbow and spins angrily, leaping into the air with a drop kick. Only the Reverend pulls Chef Andre into the line of fire. That cheeky little sod. I'm beginning to like the Reverend. Where can I get a Bible? Down goes Andre. Ezekiel Graves quickly ducks out of the ring. He hits the canvas and rolls to the outside as Josh Conway rushes out of the corner to chase him off. Monaco and Andre both get back to their feet. None of them impressed. None of them amused. There's going to be hell to pay between the four of these. Just don't say that around Ezekiel Graves or you might get punished. You can feel the tension in the ring, folks. You could cut it with a knife. Ezekiel Graves set this in motion, but I fear this is only the beginning. What the Sigma indeed. All right. Hell of a debut for those folks. Once again, glad to see that. Get them out. Oh, man. Next up, we got a segment with Harold Atano and Zeus. We all know what happened at the end of last week's show. Is Harold Atano okay? We're going to find out. The segment's entitled Broken. We're in medical, a somber and busy place at the best of times. This is where people come, often in their worst moments. Might be good if I put those above everything. Thank you, Matt, for your Prime subscription. And Zach, I don't think I mentioned yours earlier. Thank you for that resub. 42 total months. Beautiful. So we're in medical, where people come often in their worst moments. That's no different for Harold Atano, who finds himself laid up in a hospital bed. Last week, Tombstone chokeslammed him spine first on a concrete cross. The bone-shattering sound still echoes in the chambers of his mind. As he attempts to sleep, he's awoken with a startle. A nightmare bringing him from his painful slumber to find Zeus standing over him. "I'm sorry, old friend," the Baron says with meaning. It's not a platitude. He didn't want this for Atano. No one did. I have the best doctors working on your case, that's a promise. Poor Atano. This must be the end of his career, Matt. I knew it wasn't right. That sound we heard last week, I can still hear it now. Look, I don't mean to be an asshole or anything, but he's getting on a bit, right? Retirement was overdue, if you ask me. Zeus, chilling with Atano in the old hospital. Man, Atano's got them Kirsch nipples. Harold winces. Did you hear the prognosis? He groans through gritted teeth. Zeus solemnly nods. They're saying my back might be broken, Zeus. Paralyzed. He continues with a stammer that makes even the Baron's heart jump into his throat. The leader of Arcadia doesn't look away, though. He keeps his eyes focused on the teary eyes of Atano. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I wasn't to know. Atano looks away, angry. He tries to hold back his emotion, and the pain barely surrenders for him to do so. You owe me, Harold says, looking at the wall. You owe me. Zeus doesn't disagree. A knowing nod is one thing, but when he leans in, it's another. Your daughter, he whispers. Wait, what? What about Michaela? What's Zeus saying? I can't hear a thing. Well, it makes sense why Atano risked it all. Zeus might have just lifted the lid on the truth behind Michaela's appearance. As the whispers fade away into a quiet we can't hear, what we do hear is the piercing sound of tinnitus, seeping through the room as Harold's once teary-eyed expression turns into fury and wrath as we cut away. What did Zeus say? What did Zeus tell Atano? Where is his daughter? All right. Championship match. Double feature championship. El Mariachi Muerte versus Grizzly St. Clair. Folks, El Mariachi Muerte has been hunting down Grizzly St. Clair since he brutally attacked both he and Gemini at Locked and Loaded. Well, he's got him one-on-one right now. The bell sounds and Muerte makes a beeline across the ring, nigh on taking Grizzly's head off with a clothesline that spins him inside out. He doesn't hesitate, quickly mounting him with brutal right hands that hit every inch of the spot. He gets back up and pulls St. Clair with him, tossing him into the corner. If he wants answers, he might want to slow down. Muerte storms at him, leaping clothesline in the corner. Grizz drops to his ass in a heap, only to watch as the mariachi backs up, hits the ropes, rushes back across the ring with a face wash boot. But he's not done. Another for good measure. Singing Death slides to the outside and spins St. Clair by the legs, positioning him groin first towards the ring post. Wham! He yanks him straight into it. Ooh! Or, ah! Roar the crowd. I don't know. I can't do fans. I hope he didn't have plans for that part of his anatomy. I felt that from here, Bronco. I think I'm having sympathy pains. Muerte grabs his leg. He wraps it around the ring post for good measure. Here it is. Wrapping that leg around the ring post. Beautiful shot. He grabs Grizz by the head and drags him out, hanging him head and shoulders over the ring apron. Before hopping back into it and climbing immediately above him onto the top rope. Wait a minute. What the hell is he thinking? 48 roses, the double rope, double foot stomp from inside the ring to the outside, crushing onto Grizzly St. Clair's head and neck as they overhang from the apron. Jesus Christ, he might just be dead. My God, that boy won't be able to tell you a dang thing, Muerte. I'm not sure he cares. The mariachi rolls a coughing and sputtering St. Clair back into the ring and pulls him sloppily back to his feet. You will tell me what I want to know, he says, looking him dead in the eye. Slap to the face! El Mariachi slapped that boy awake. He puts a stem in his own mouth. He pulls St. Clair low. Package, pile driver, the fade to black. Stick a fork in him, son. He's done. Muerte goes into the cover. 1, 2, and 3. It's over. It was academic from the start, but my God, if El Mariachi Muerte didn't punish Grizzly St. Clair for that cowardly attack on he and Gemini last week. The match might be over, but I think the interrogation is just about to begin. Why did Grizzly St. Clair attack Gemini and El Mariachi Muerte last week? He's preparing to find out. Your winner, and still double feature champion, El Mariachi Muerte. Very hard-fought victory. Let's go into that interrogation, shall we? I know, Damo, I wasn't sure. The hunt is over. The match is finished, but Muerte is nowhere near done with Grizzly St. Clair. Singing Death hoists his foe up to his feet before tossing him into a corner. Last chance. Hioputa? I don't know. The mariachi says, pressing his forearm against the antagonist's neck. Tell me who ordered the attack on me and Gemini, and all of this will end. If this man had any sense left after his beatdown, he'd rat Zeus out right now. Don't say a bloody word, Grizz. Keep the Baron's name out of the dirt. Indeed, Grizzly says nothing. In fact, he simply smiles at his adversary's attempt to make him talk. The former horseman growls before releasing the hold on him, allowing St. Clair to breathe. As he does so, Muerte grabs his guitar from the opposite side of the ring, getting ready to play it. You are in no position to toy with me. Perhaps La Musica will set you straight. Looks like El Mariachi is about to force the answers out of his foe, one way or another. Before a note can be strummed, however, Grizzly places a hand on the musician's shoulder. He takes a deep breath, and he spits in his face. I love it. He just hocked a loogie at him. That just set him off, Ruby. He just unstrapped himself from the guitar and is gripping the neck with both hands. Low blow by El Mariachi. Down goes Grizzly to his knees. Muerte swings the guitar into the antagonist, sends him spiraling to the canvas in a heap. Holy crap! His neck just snapped! I heard it from here! He's dead! Muerte just killed him? Don't do it! Look at that shot right there. El Kabong to the head. With a look of utter shock, the mariachi slowly leaves the ring and heads up the ramp. He can't believe what he's done. He did not intend this. And now, with the death of Grizzly, Muerte can only theorize who sent him and why. I can't believe what we've just witnessed, and neither can El Mariachi Muerte, it seems. He just killed a man in cold blood, damn it. And we cut away. Man, El Mariachi Muerte just took out the one person who could tell him who sent him. Not a smart move. Not a smart move. All right, there's your death for those people in the predictions game. How many bear puns can we make? We've got another segment. We're going to have plenty of them. This one's called Same Page. We've got Doom, Mr. Sunshine, and Knox. What do we got going on here? We've got two figures that look entirely out of place on the brighter-than-life set of the Sunshine Club. Doom and Knox both walk in, each shielding their eyes a touch from the sheer artificial glare of the brightness. Not a word is shared between them, but they're both thinking the same thing. The unease shared in matching body language. Doom with his arms folded and Knox with his hands uncomfortably on his hips. Before they can utter a word, Mr. Sunshine himself pops up seemingly from nowhere in between them, with a smile on his face and places an arm around each of them. He looks so happy. Friends, he beams. You came. I knew you would. After everything that Sunshine has been through, the electric shock therapy, the noxious gas, he seems his usual, annoying, goofy, grinning self. Well, not in those words, but yeah, no side effects at all. My friends, we're stronger together. I think we proved that last week. Knox eyeballs him, scoffing. Yeah, and remind me, how'd that go? Did we all not get knocked out cold with a steel chair? Doom silences Knox with a hand, turning to Sunshine instead. Your methods may not be to my exact liking, but I cannot deny that you have backbone when it counts. You were loyal and came to my aid, so... He draws a deep breath, exhaling slowly. Thank you. This has the effect on Sunshine you'd expect. A smile that you wouldn't think could be any wider seems to split his face in half. He jumps with excitement. I knew you'd see the sunshine eventually. Now, all we need to do is just stick together, smile, and the sun will continue to shine on us. Knox shakes his head, but he can't deny the logic. He begrudgingly accepts the premise. We'll be on the same page as long as you're prepared to fight and not dish out cuddles. He holds up several vials. I'm not above injecting you with a little testosterone, if needed, to remind you that we're at war. They walk off the set, Doom and Knox shaking their heads slowly while Sunshine skips behind them. As we cut away. Hell, I guess at least one of these teams has to be somewhat on the same page. We know the others aren't. Will they be able to stay on the same page in the match, though? Who knows, because we've got a next-level championship match taking place at the Maxwell family phone? The Maxwell family home. The Birdman defends that beautiful championship against Candy Kane. Well, actually, this is a next-level championship match. Why are they in the ring? Maxwell has refused to fight in the wreckage of his home after Ring of Dreams. For the first time, the next level match is in the ring. Okay. There we go. No, you're good. The bell rings and Candy Kane rushes down Birdman with a flurry of lefts and rights. The Mummy blocks the blows as best as he can and retaliates with a massive headbutt to the nose. He follows up with a hellacious clothesline before grabbing her and throwing her over the top rope onto the apron. Flame Tongue! Shotgun drop kick sends Candy off the apron and right to ringside. Leave her alone, you overcooked muppet! Candy lands in a heap. Birdman descends on her with ill intent. He reaches behind the ring and he pulls out a steel chair. That can't be legal. It's next level. It ain't in his house, but it's still no holds barred. Falls count anywhere. Maxwell fires away with a chair shot at the rising Candy Cane, but the gumshoe ducks beneath the blow and catches him with the right hook to the jaw. Birdman turns for another swing, but Candy leaps with a drop kick that sends the chair right into his face. She grabs him and slams him head first onto the apron before rolling him into the ring. Yeah, do it again and see if it fixes that ugly mug of his. Birdman begins to stir as Candy slides in with a kendo stick. She flies forwards and cracks it against Birdman's chest with authority. The detective lays into him with devastating strikes until the stick breaks into splinters in her hands. But Candy isn't done, because the Birdman refuses to go down. She leaps onto his back. My lord, she's choking the life out of him. Me next! Me next! Man, she is into that choking. Look at that. She's getting it. She is getting it. Candy refuses to let go of the hold. As TBM gasps for air, he falls to a knee. The gumshoe looks to have this one in the bag until the survivor lives up to his name and begins to rise to his feet. The Birdman runs at the turnbuckle and turns to land back first, crushing Candy into the corner. She lets go and stumbles out into a massive backdraft, spinning back elbow. The gumshoe collapses into the corner, and the Birdman follows up with a brutal running face wash. But he's not finished. He forces her up and drags her onto the apron. DDT onto the apron. He just planted Candy face first. Leave her face alone, you brute. Are you jealous? Candy rolls off the apron onto the floor, but Maxwell doesn't seem ready to end the match quite yet. He peels her off the ground and whips her right into the ring post. The Arcadian mummy digs under the ring, pulling out a table. He sets it up at ringside before going to grab Kane, only to catch a trash can to the skull. Candy Kane has a trash can. The blow drops TBM. Candy drops the trash can behind him, stalking as he begins to rise to his feet. One hard jawbreaker. Reverse bulldog right onto that trash can. Put him where he belongs. The trash can gets crushed beneath their weight, and Candy finally hooks a leg. Referee Moonfoot begins the count. 1, 2. No! Kick out at the last moment by the Birdman. Candy can't believe it. Her eyes go back to the table as she realizes what she needs to do to put this match away. She forces Maxwell off the ground and pulls him up onto the apron. The gumshoe nails him with a hook to the gut before reaching towards his face. Mandible claw! The Candy Cane crush! No! The Birdman bites down. He pulls her onto the pump handle. Death Valley Driver, the 3rd degree off the apron, right through the goddamn table. The wood splinters and goes flying. Birdman throws his arm over there for the cover. It's 1. It's 2. It's 3. The match was a slobber knocker, but it looks like the Birdman was one case that Candy couldn't crack. Your winner, and still next level champion, the Burned Man. Congratulations, Damo, for that title retention. Very, very nice. Are we going to get a follow-up with these two? We sure as fuck are. Let's keep on going then. Segment entitled Trust. Entitled Trust. The smoke is cleared. The match is over, yet there's still unfinished business. Both competitors stand wearily at ringside, the Birdman grabbing a microphone. You put up a good fight, Candy. You did. He pauses, chuckling a bit as he moves to the timekeeper, grabbing a file. And finally, I think I can trust you to have these. As if a bombshell like her needs his blessing. Do you have an off switch? He walks to Candy, handing her the file. She smirks, grabbing the mic. Thank you, Maxwell. If you ever need a detective, feel free to give me a call. And with that, Candy takes her leave from ringside, going through the files as she walks up the ramp, exiting the arena. The Birdman goes to follow her soon after, only to get gored. Doom just nailed him with a splitter from over the barricade. What the hell's Doom doing here? Who cares? I want to see where this goes. Doom rains down boot after boot on the already wounded Birdman. Maxwell tries to crawl away, only to catch a steel chair to the back. He gives a few more sickening smacks with the chair before tossing the bent piece of metal to the floor. The crowd boos as Doom drags the Birdman next to the steel steps and sits him up against them. God, no, have mercy, this ain't right. Put him in the dirt, Doom. Doom backs up. He lines up his shot. He flies forward with the scrambler. The massive knee trembler sandwiches the burned man's head between him and the steel steps. Brutal. Brutal. The crowd is in shock as Doom looks down at the burned man, taking in the damage he just caused as we cut away. Brutal destruction from Doom on the burned man. As Zach, you just said, on sight. On sight. All right. Hot damn. We're cooking here. And we got Aurora in a segment titled Found Footage 1. Static. We have shaky, handheld camera footage as we stumble through the darkness of an Arcadian level that we cannot identify. It trundles towards a building, stopping short and ducking down into some bushes. The bushes cover the camera for a moment, but only briefly. What's this? I do like a bit of bush, but this isn't my kind of thing. The camera suddenly lifts, peering directly at a window. A few moments pass before someone steps into frame. It's Aurora. Whoa, hang the heck on a second. This isn't appropriate. Oh boy! Aurora, wearing a skimpy piece of nighttime lingerie, stands before her window, brushing her hair back, oblivious to the fact that someone has her on camera. Their breathing intensifies with the footage. Somebody is a creep. This is unacceptable. Is that breathing you or the pervert filming this? You need to calm down, Ruby. I'm calm. I'm calm. I need to meet whoever shot this footage and shake their hand. You are disgusting. Someone has invaded this poor woman's privacy and displayed it to the world. I know, it's great. She brushes her hair back and takes a moment to stare at the window, into our souls, not realizing that we too look back. She closes the blinds and walks back into the room, leaving the footage to cut once again to static. I can't believe this. I really can't. That poor girl has just been embarrassed in front of the whole of Olympus. Oh, she has nothing to be embarrassed about looking like that. Somebody is creeping on Aurora. Poor girl. Poor girl. I know, it's got to be Gemini. Just creeping, heavy breathing. What's next? Ooh, a last man standing match. Tombstone versus Narcissa. 1 week removed from an unholy attempt at marriage, and Tombstone looks to try and maim his would-be wife in a last man standing match. She needs to get out of here. That dusty old corpse wants to defile her. As the match begins, Narcissa and Tombstone look at one another. The ferryman beckoning her forwards. Hera walks up to him, their immense height difference on show, as they stare one another down, face to face. It's Dean. It's Dean's self-insert. He's the one behind the camera. It will be the new character, Dean Mason. Uprising! Bicycle kick to the face of Tombstone. But Tombstone doesn't even flinch. He immediately grabs Narcissa and Beale tosses her clear across the goddamn ring. She lands next to the ropes, which she immediately uses to springboard off with a flying drop kick that lands flush with Tombstone's chest, but he barely budges. Kick to the gut, the Ode to Sharon, a massive jackknife powerbomb. What the bloody hell is Tombstone made of? Pure, unadulterated evil, Ruby. He makes my blood run cold just looking at him. Cole Holt tries to begin the count, but Tombstone peels Narcissa off of the mat and immediately powers her up into a gorilla press. He turns towards the ropes and runs forward before throwing Narcissa clear over them and right all the way into the barricade. By God, this match may already be over. Oh, stay down, Narcy. He's a monster. The crowd reacts in pure shock as Holt begins to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Signs of life from Narcissa as we get 6. We get, no, she's up. Tombstone begs for her to come back into the ring. Narcissa begins to dig under the apron before pulling out a steel chair. She slides into the ring and rushes Tombstone. She baseball slides beneath his legs and pops up as he turns around, catching him with a brutal chair shot to the fucking skull. She made Tombstone stumble. Hera flies away with another massive chair shot, but Tombstone catches the chair and yanks it right out of her hands. He grabs hold of Narcissa by the back of her head and slams her neck first across the top of the steel chair. The designer grabs her throat in agony as she collapses to the mat. But Tombstone refuses to let up as he forces her back to her feet and pulls her into a massive bear hug. A soul to carry! Tombstone is walking around the ring with Narcissa in a rib-crushing bear hug. He's defiling her, Bronco. He's defiling her. Thanks, Mikey. The ferryman paces the ring slowly, toying with Narcissa, who can't even tap out. The crowd is begging for this to end, but Tombstone refuses to let go of the hold. Narcissa tries to break free to no avail, and desperation takes over as she begins to claw at Tombstone's face. She digs her nails into his eyes. Fight! Fight for your life, Narcissa! Tombstone is forced to drop her, and as Narcissa lands on the ground, she lashes out. A low blow! Hera with a low blow to Tombstone. That'll teach him! Just a big kick to the nuts. Hera hits the ropes as Tombstone doubles over from the pain. She handsprings towards him with conviction. Trend killer! Trend killer! Handspring, twisting elbow, right to the temple. Tombstone is finally off his feet. Narcissa is spent, but she claws her way back to her feet with the ropes as Cole begins to count for Tombstone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tombstone sits up. He wasn't even down for a 5 count. Hera looks on in shock and terror as Tombstone gets to his feet and stomps towards her. She tries to roll out of the ring, but Tombstone grabs her leg and forces her back inside. He clobbers her with a massive right hand before wrapping his hand around her throat. He's calling for the end as he raises her up. For whom the bell tolls, the choke slam. No! Narcissa reversed it. A Hurricane Rana sends them both over the top. Both competitors land at ringside. Narcissa reaches under the ring before pulling out a sledgehammer. She turns to Tombstone, nails him in the face with a foreign object. He drops to a knee. She swings it right into his skull, sending him right to the floor. But Tombstone slowly begins to rise, and she immediately makes distance. The ferryman chases after her like a man possessed. Hera slides into the ring and Tombstone follows. And Tombstone catches her with a clothesline right from hell. He nearly took her beautiful head off. Look at that. Look at that beautiful image right there. Narcissa hits the mat in a heap. Tombstone looks not even close to finished. He forces Narcissa back to her feet, refusing to let the ref begin a count as he forces her up. He drops her with the Elysium Fields, the Tombstone Pile Driver. Hera lays motionless at the mat, and Tombstone points at Cole Holt, demanding he begin the count. And we get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But Narcissa shown signs of life. 7, 8, 9. Is this it? She kips up. Narcissa refuses to stay down. Don't be a hero. Stay beautiful. And please, for the love of Zeus, stay down. Narcissa turns around and lashes out with one desperate maneuver. The revolution, the spinning heel kick, but no! Tombstone catches her leg. The ferryman grabs Narcissa by the throat, and he grabs the sledgehammer with the other. I don't like this. And he begins to slam, hammer, into the side of Narcissa's face. Wham! 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 I can't watch. By God, he's gonna kill her. The assault continues on with brutal strikes. The crowd is begging for this to end. There it is, for whom the bell tolls. A falling chokeslam puts Narcissa down. Tell me when it's all over, Bronco. I don't want to look. Holt begins the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Finally, mercifully, this match has come to an end. Your winner is Tombstone. Congratulations to Tombstone for that victory. We have a segment to follow entitled, I Know the Truth. Tombstone is an undeniable monster. He looks down at Narcissa, his eyes widened in a curt smile, plastered across his dominant face. This monster hasn't lost since he was eliminated from Lambs to the Slaughter at Pandemonium. He stands over the fashionista, who now kneels before him completely and utterly at his mercy. And the Chief's war chant, by the reality of yourself, blares into the arena, stunning the crowd who look on in anticipation. The Trons flicker, revealing the name Paragon. Hang on a minute. Rumors have been swirling all week that Paragon might make his debut here at Chain Reaction. Who the hell is Paragon? He's a member of the Watchers. Paragon steps out onto the stage with a microphone in hand and makes a powerful walk towards the ring, hopping up the ring steps and carefully entering across from Tombstone. The ferryman looks at him with a watchful eye. My name is Paragon, he says to cheers from the crowd, and I've come to share with you the truth. Tombstone looks at him with interest. Here's what Paragon looks like. Badass mask and look. What truth? The Watchers are everywhere. We walk among you, our faces one with the crowd. At Ring of Dreams we witnessed the unthinkable, he admits. He takes a moment to compose himself, the truth of burden he no longer needs to carry. So he knows this. We know the truth that they're trying to hide. Zeus, Narcissa El Mariachi Muerte, and Gemini went to the level formerly known as the Red Light District, and zap! What the hell? His microphone cut off. What's he trying to say? Paragon pats the microphone, chuckling to himself when he realizes that it doesn't work. He tosses it aside and calls Tombstone in. The ferryman approaches confidently, leaning in to hear what he has to say. His eyes widen and his brow furrows as the information is passed to him by the Truthbringer. He quickly flashes a look back to Narcissa, who wisely rolls out of the ring to the outside. What on Arcadia did he just say? I don't know. But Tombstone looks legitimately shook, and Narcissa is hightailing it out of here. What has our fearless Baron done? Folks, we need to know what happened at No Man's Land, formerly the Red Light District, where Grimskull, John the Revelator, and Druid, what happened to them? Narcissa knows. You can bet your ass that she knows. Do you know what I want to know? I want to know just how much Paragon has seen. You don't think he's seen me, do you? I imagine if he'd seen you, he'd have torn his eyes out. Ruby, Lord knows I want to. Okay. That's a big segment. Tombstone is now aware of what happened at the end of Ring of Dreams and is aware of, presumably, the truth of Arcadia. What the hell is the ferryman going to do against that? Very, very interesting twist in that story. Paragon debuting and already having an impact. And if you aren't reading the Lucky Breaks, I believe that this character has certainly been teased in them. We get a segment with no title, or with no image for characters. It's called Nothing Else Matters. We're in a boardroom somewhere in Arcadia. This is recorded prior to Ring of Dreams. We see fresh fruits, bottles of water, and the finest wines. They adorn a large oak table in the middle of a boardroom that we've never seen before. To be frank, we're not seeing much of it now either. We've lost Mr. Blue, an unrecognizable voice says, bringing a silence from among the chatter inside the room. That was unfortunate. But the corporation had planned for such potential eventualities. However, I fear that some may be getting close to uncovering the truth. The chatter increases with the group. Someone clears their throat, calling an immediate halt to the noise, and the original speaker continues. As you know, you're still in play, but we'll need to protect your identities. As the chairs of this meeting, I assume you'd agree. He asks, awaiting a response. Eyes follow in grunt, presumably from the unknown misters. Very well. I have a boy I can send. He's a little antagonistic and somewhat a loose cannon, but he himself controls a substantial following. He'll be able to put an end to the investigation that may lead to us. His name is Hatchet. Not that it's important. Oh, so this is who hired Hatchet. This corporation. Okay. And who is Mr. Blue? There's a smattering of eyes in response to that, too. I'm sure we'll have this matter resolved in no time, and the corporation will be able to resume business matters unabashed. So this is intriguing. What does this have to do with? Hatchet got involved with the Burn Man and Destructo Boy, so maybe it has something to do with that. I think this is going to be a big one. I know, the Juggalo is a corporate sellout. The Union. Oh man, the Union. Now that's a blast from the past. Oh shit, we're already here? World Heavyweight Championship match. CJ Thorpe defends against his brother Jackson Cade after he tried to kill him a week prior to this. Alright, this is going to be a biggie. Jizzing with jizz. Indeed. Good luck, Dawson. As always, I'm rooting for you. Is this dang sound alert not going to play? It's on. It's supposed to play. But apparently not. But apparently not. If I knew how to refund you, I would. And if I knew why that didn't work, I would fix it. I feel like that happens every time somebody tries to redeem one of these and it just doesn't work. But right before this match is a good time to see why the hell it doesn't work. I'm going to spend approximately less than 1 minute to do this. Just to make sure that I have the right thing. Oh, I think it just got rid of my login. It's probably the problem. Alright, where the hell is the thing that I need to copy in? Okay. Well, what the hell? Broadcaster sound alerts are offline. No, they are in fact online. They are working. Alright, well, I'll have to mess with that later. The important thing is that I will do... I was just going to sing it. What the hell? That one worked. What the hell? It worked. Oh, that makes it even worse. It worked for Brian. Oh, that's amazing. That is a fucking amazing. All right, here you go.
And his name is John C.
All right, let's do it. World title match. Good little fun break. Here we go. Here we go. I'm already annoyed that my chat doesn't work on here because I guess I have to refresh the link, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, brother. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Brother against brother for the OSW World Championship. Does it get any more personal than this? Look how pissed off Jackson Cade is. There's enough bad blood here to paint Arcadia. With George Cade here at ringside to watch over his sons going to war. One has got to ask the question, is this the most dysfunctional family in all of Arcadia? I mean, there are the... The bell sounds and Cade instantly goes on the offensive. Charging across the ring, he grabs Thorpe by the scruff of his neck and forces him into the turnbuckle. Thorpe cannot do anything to stop the onslaught and finds himself simply bringing his arms up to defend his head as Cade barrages him with a clubbing forearms. Boom, boom, boom. Each shot hits with vinegar. Jackson Cade is furious. CJ Thorpe manages to push his brother off of him and momentarily escape to the corner. Cade lands on his feet. He comes charging back at Thorpe. Incendiary round, no! CJ Thorpe pulls his brother into a hurricane DDT. Pathfinder plants a pissed off Jackson Cade perfectly in position. That's some alliteration. Now CJ Thorpe has Jackson Cade right in the middle of the ring. He's miles away from any of the ropes. He needs to put the hurt onto him. Thorpe grabs Cade by the arm, wrenching it backwards and locking Jackson Cade up tight. Police brutality! He's locking him into the rings of Saturn, but he can't quite turn him over. Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Jackson Cade kicks his brother off of him. He squirms out of the hold. Both brothers scamper away to opposite corners. Cade rises with a look of fury on his face. Thorpe turns to face his brother, his face filled with pleading. That is the look of a man who's protesting his innocence, but Cade's having none of it. Again, Cade charges across the ring at Thorpe, but Thorpe ducks under the incoming clothesline. Jackson Cade collides into the turnbuckle and takes a moment to steady himself. Here comes CJ Thorpe. He's looking to capitalize. Hostile down. Super kick from Jackson Cade to CJ Thorpe. He caught him right in the kisser. Beautiful image. If only the people were reversed. CJ Thorpe goes down hard. Jackson Cade covers for the pin and gets a 1. Thorpe looks out cold. He gets a 2. And is this it? No, foot on the rope. CJ Thorpe just had enough left to reach out his foot, but it's enough to stay alive. Well, he's going to need to find something else if he wants to stay alive. Sheriff Cade pulls his brother to his feet. He gets him in a suplex position. He wrenches back to pull Thorpe up, but he can't get him off the ground. A second time, and Thorpe's feet stay on the ground. A third attempt. Cade screams in frustration as he pulls CJ into the air. It's a suplex, but Thorpe is dead weight. He doesn't hit it perfectly. Thorpe lands face first into the canvas. The suplex is enough to get Thorpe where he wants him, and Cade expertly transitions into the Chimera lock. Threat, containment, but he can't get the body scissors locked in. Thorpe claws to the ropes. He pulls himself up and pushes Cade away. The separation creates a break, and Thorpe looks set to take the offensive, but something stops him dead in his tracks. It's George Cade! He's up on the ring apron. What the hell is he doing? Father's getting himself involved, and CJ Thorpe looks pissed. He's been the calmer of the brothers, but this has tipped him over the line. CJ Thorpe loses it, and he Sparta kicks George Cade in the stomach off of the ring apron. Look at that. That's a good one right there. CJ is having none of it. Instantly, Jackson Cade rushes to his father's aid. In contrast, Thorpe does not. He turns himself away, face reddened with rage. In the time it takes Thorpe to calm himself enough to focus, Jackson's managed to call in medical attention for his father. Turning his mind back to the match, he slips into the ring. The brothers lock horns once more. Jackson Cade comes at Thorpe with fists of fury. Bang, bang, bang. He gets in 3 solid shots that rock Thorpe. Sheriff Cade grabs his brother into a headlock before flinging him towards the ropes. Thorpe rebounds off the rope, hurtles back at Officer Cade. Trust! The knee trembler hits Jackson Cade square in the jaw, and he drops like a sack of bricks. Oh my Zeus, the sound that made! It has to be a broken jaw. Flat out on his back. I've had many fine ladies in this position before, but not like this. C.J. Thorpe climbs the turnbuckle, slowly, pulling his exhausted frame upwards. The crowd roars as he looks down from his perch and leaps. Top rope, elbow drop, nails Jackson Cade with the huge shot. And he got all of it. Thorpe covers for the pin. This has got to be it. We're at 1. We're at 2. No sign of life from Cade. 3. No, it's a kick out. Just in time. Thorpe pulls a groggy Cade back to his feet. He softens his brother up with a few strikes to the body. Jackson tries to fight back, but he can do nothing other than merely defend himself. Jackson Cade looks like a soft breeze would knock him out right about now. How the hell is he still standing? As long as there's breath in his lungs, don't count Jackson Cade out. Thorpe grabs Cade by the head. He's going for the right thing, but Cade pushes him away out of desperation. They both charge at each other. Double clothesline. Both men are down. They're both exhausted. Slowly, they both pull themselves back to a vertical base. But it's C.J. Thorpe. There rises a split second before Jackson Cade. He pushes him into the turnbuckle, slamming his head into the steel. Thorpe climbs the turnbuckle. He's pulling Cade with him. He leaps off, and he pulls Cade with him. Freedom! He killed his own damn brother with fire. The top rope pedigree. Stick a fork in it. This turkey is done. C.J. Thorpe doesn't even hook the leg. He just flops on top of his unconscious brother. 1, 2, 3! C.J. Thorpe is your winner. He retains the OSW World Championship, but he had to decimate his family to retain it. Your winner, and still OSW World Champion, C.J. Thorpe. Thank you. Thank you. Dawson, I very much enjoyed your promo. It was a good one. I'm proud to have beaten it. Even if we were not as good as most of the people in the chain reaction match. Dawson said you didn't deserve it. If he disagrees, he'd say so. Great match, though. Whoever wrote that match did a great work. Did a great job. Matt, I think that's the second time you've pulled the Dawson said this. If he disagrees, he'd say so joke. Oh, man. Well, we've got a segment with these three. Cain and Abel 3. With the match over, C.J. Thorpe did it. He somehow managed to retain his world championship in a hard-fought match with his brother. George Cade slides back into the ring, aching from the boot he received that sent him flying off the apron. As the referee hands C.J. his championship, all 3 men get back to their feet with George nursing Jackson specifically back to his. As we get static, and suddenly the Tron flickers. What's this? More footage were recorded earlier. Inside the sheriff's office at the Arcadian Police Department. The camera is seemingly hidden on a shelf, watching as Jackson Cade and his father stand on either side of the sheriff's desk talking. I don't want to do it, Pop, Jackson defiantly states, hands on his hips, refusing. He's my brother and I trust him. George shakes his head. It's not about trust. Your brother's been through a lot, and who knows what that did to him. We need to make sure. Cade interrupts that he can be trusted. It is about trust. Just call it what it is, Dad. You think if I give him a gun, he'll fucking shoot me. Both men look at one another. Meanwhile, back in the ring, all 3 stand watching. And man, the bros don't look too happy, I don't think, in this picture here. George puts the gun on the table and puts a hand on his son's shoulder. If he doesn't, then you're right and I'm wrong. We must do it, kiddo. There's no choice in the matter. Just trust me, okay? This is the only way. We put blanks in the gun, give it to your brother, and see what happens. Wow, Dad of the Year much? You're telling me you'd trust a criminal? CJ Thorpe is a villain, BB. After a moment, both men nod and exit the office, leaving the door open. Back inside the ring, and CJ looks at his brother and father with disgust. Despite what he did, there's a look of shame on Jackson's face. His father remains as stoic as ever. Suddenly, though, the camera footage continues. Into the room walks an officer, his face blurred from view intentionally. He walks over to the gun and picks it up, putting down another one in its stead. A second officer walks in and catches him in the act. However, he doesn't do anything. Tell Malachi, that it's done, the first officer says to the other. The pistol can be remote controlled from a 200-yard radius. All he needs to do is follow them, stay close, and press the button when ready. The gun will fire automatically. Static. That son of a bitch! What a genius! Malachi Midnight did this. He set this thing up, he and his blasted owls. He just had those two brothers beat the holy hell out of each other, Bronk. That's incredible! As we cut away. Back inside the ring, and all three Cades are in shock. CJ looks at his brother with disgust, and his brother at their father with shame. Their family has been pulled apart by this, and it's all because of one man. Malachi Midnight. And we cut away again. That is a twist right there. Malachi Midnight set the whole thing up and has clearly infiltrated the APD. That being said, George Cade is also a piece of shit for doing the whole thing to begin with. But maybe these Cades will get their asses on the same page. I believe, as they would say on Reddit, everyone is an asshole in this instance. Ooh, segment. Mrs. Foley and Felix Foley. It's titled Mother May I. Felix Foley hunches over his father's diary in a dimly lit backstage corner, his fingers tracing the aged pages. It's a big night and he's looking for something, anything, that might provide a spark of inspiration to fuel him for tonight's chain reaction. This Rube's too old to have daddy issues. I disagree, but I don't think tonight's the night to be looking at that old thing. He's so absorbed in what he's reading that he barely notices his dear mother's approach until she speaks. "I've been given a manager's license by that nice boy Scott Sterling," she announces with a mix of pride and determination. "What? We don't need that geriatric old hag out here." Felix snaps the diary shut, worry etching his face. "It's too dangerous. You could get hurt out there," he protests, standing to emphasize his concern. "Listen to her, Mrs. Foley. This ain't ballet." Mama Foley shakes her head undeterred. "Felix, I've been protecting you your whole life. This is no different. I'm not about to stop now," she asserts, her voice firm yet gentle. "I won't be out there with you tonight, but I know you'll do just dandy." Felix pauses, looking down at the diary of his father for a moment. "Why was he so obsessed with an apple?" he asks, his voice lowered, the question seeming to weigh heavily on his soul. Mama Foley's expression quickly shifts, from resolve to a mixture of worry and disgust. Her eyes dart around nervously, and she quickly grabs the diary from Felix's hands. "We'll talk about this later. Right now you need to focus on your match. It's time," she insists, her tone urgent as she ushers him away. "Why didn't Miss Foley want to talk about it? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I knew it. Felix's daddy was the doctor. He's a bastard. Will you stop?" As we cut. And I believe, yes, we are to the chain reaction match. 12 individuals. 4 teams of 3. And I'm sure I'm going to explain the match, and it's going to be explained immediately when I scroll down to the commentary, so I'm not going to do it this time. Our main event of the evening is an Olympic first. 4 teams of 3 competitors will face off in a tag team elimination contest where anything goes. The only way to be eliminated is by pinfall, submission, or knockout until only one team remains. We're going to see some old-fashioned violence here, BB. What's to stop 6 feet under? Or, God forbid, the besties from teaming up and just ensuring they're the last one standing. Simple, Ruby. It's what motivates anyone. A chance at championship glory. The surviving team will go on to fight one another to become the #1 contender to the OSW World Championship. The type of opportunity some of these competitors may never be able to obtain. So teamwork is paramount tonight. What's on the line is an opportunity for an opportunity at the World Championship. And if you look at some of these names up here, they may not necessarily be in the rankings for it right now, but they have their chance here tonight. Look at that, Mikey's rooting against himself. All 4 teams are in the ring. Some are discussing who are going to start first, some just deciding for their own team. Gravedigger and Hatchet just look at one another, nodding before pushing Gemini through the ropes and into the ring. Dom and Knox argue with one another who will start, not noticing Mr. Sunshine has gotten into the ring with a big smile on his face. Malachi Midnight, that bastard, graciously offers himself as the first entrance for his team. As for the last team, Aurora and the Kid rock, paper, scissors for it. Destructo Boy's rock breaks Aurora's scissors as Jasper Redgrave, well, the self-proclaimed leader of his group, isn't even on the apron, but watching with that dickhead grin on his face, seated on the same chair he caused chaos with last week. We have our first 4 competitors, Gemini, Mr. Sunshine, Malachi Midnight, and Destructo Boy. As soon as that bell rings, anything goes until one team is remaining, or even one competitor is remaining. The bell rings. Malachi Midnight immediately rocks Mr. Sunshine with a brutal spinning forearm, the Devil's Advocate taking Cheery Charlie, but he doesn't get to follow up as he turns around. Flying kick to the side of the head. Gemini clocks Midnight as she looks at Destructo Boy, the pair nodding as they rush forward. Double super kick. Malachi staggers back into the ropes. In the top left corner as Hatchet grabs the Midnight Man in a full Nelson, yelling at Gemini to get this fucker. Gemini rushes forward just as Gravedigger pulls Malachi out of Hatchet's grasp, and Gemini nearly rushes into her own teammate. She stops herself just in time, only to get a hard punch to the gut from Malachi, who grips her up. Midnight Plex onto Destructo Boy. Malachi winks at Gravedigger, who just stares silently, trying to ignore Hatchet mouthing off at him for screwing up his plans. Malachi backs up, observing his downed foes as he readies himself to eliminate someone early on here. Malachi looking for that deadly big boot. Gemini staggering up to her feet. The clock strikes. No! The Kid sweeps Gemini's leg as Malachi sails over her. This idiot knows she's on a different team, right? Malachi turns around, noticing what's happened. He rushes forward at Destructo Boy, not seeing the flash of yellow coming at him. Catch me! Mr. Sunshine out of nowhere with a big crossbody wiping out Malachi. The crowd pop as Sunshine gets to his feet. A big smile on his face as Malachi staggers to his feet, trying a groggy clothesline, but Sunshine ducks underneath before sending Malachi to the ropes. He ducks underneath him, leaps frog over him before on the third bounce, he grabs him by the waist. Monkey flip into the corner. Mr. Sunshine pops to his feet, waving his hands around as the crowd begins to wave with him. Malachi slowly pulls himself up in the corner as Sunshine bounces off the ropes. He may not be much of a fighter, but Sunshine certainly knows how to have fun out there. Blind tag by Doom. Oh, thank God Doomsy's here to stop this farce. Mr. Sunshine looks dejected as he realizes he's not going to get his fun, but Doom stops him from getting out, instead motioning forward for him to continue. Not you too, Doom! Sunshine claps his hands in delight, bouncing back off the ropes as he rushes forward, running spear into the corner. Sunshine isn't done, though, as he pulls Midnight up, lifting him out of the corner before running forward. Spinebuster! Spinebuster? Spinebuster! The wacky, waving, hugging spectacular! Sunshine is beaming with happiness as he gets escorted out of the ring by referee Mills Stanton. Doom shaking his head as he looks towards the fallen Malachi. But before he can do anything, he's gripped from behind. German suplex by Destructo Boy. Doom gets dropped on the back of his head by his former protege of sorts, as the kid rushes to the ropes, bouncing off looking for that shining wizard. The scientist is able to duck underneath before flipping upwards. Hover, no bother! Hard kick to the jaw staggers the kid back. Doom scowling as he rushes forward, looking to split his former friend in half. The split! See no evil! Destructo Boy nails Doom with a shining wizard out of nowhere. Could this be it for Doom inside of this match? The kid goes to drop down for the pinfall, only to get nailed from behind by Midnight before getting thrown to the ropes. Kick to the spine by Gravedigger. The kid staggers forward. Midnight Plex. Malachi bridges back with the Fisherman's for our first fall of the evening. Stan slides in to make the count. 1, 2... The kid kicks out. Malachi stands backing up, hearing the clock chime. The clock strikes. No, the splitter. Doom just cut Malachi off mid-run with that brutal gore-like spear. But why would he intervene before the boot hit Destructo Boy? Instead of covering Malachi, Doom kneels down, pulling him up to eye level as he speaks. Slow, cold, and almost growling at Midnight. He's mine. Basketballs might not hold grudges, but Doom certainly does. Doom turns around, fury in his eyes. The Cure! Springboard tornado DDT from Gemini spikes him into the mat out of nowhere. The Rogue picking her spot perfectly here as she backs up. Blind tag by Hatchet. She scowls at the Juggalo, who mimes a kiss before flipping her off. The Clown rolls into the ring, rushing forward as Destructo Boy staggers to his feet, right into a mammoth lariat that turns the kid inside out. Black is the next to slowly stagger to his feet. Wig split! Midnight may as well have a cracked skull from that mammoth headbutt, but the Lord of Darkness doesn't go down, instead staggering back into his corner as Klaus tags himself in. Oh, here we go. The leader of the Freaks is coming in to hopefully get his ass handed to him. Hatchet rushes forward, trying for a lariat on Klaus, but Way manages to duck underneath, grabbing the wrist before flinging Hatchet face first into the mat. He keeps hold of it, flipping over the Juggalo's back before driving forward into a modified crucifix. Mills slides in to count the fall. 1. No! Not even 2. Hatchet manages to kick out. The Clown staggers to his feet, peppering Klaus with a right to the jaw as he does, but the wig split is blocked this time. Way giving Hatchet a headbutt of his own to the midsection before gripping him around the neck. Cravat suplex. Say what you want about Way's interesting demeanor, but inside that ring his offense is certainly unique. Unique won't mean jack when he gets down by the Clown, Bronco. Klaus throws Hatchet overhead, turning around into an upwards elbow to the jaw. Enlightened Soul! Destructo Boy plants Klaus into the mat with that spinning Uranagi, but he can't follow up as he's spun around by his former friend and shown the hands of doom. The Doctor can't quite get the full grip on the kid, though. Destructo Boy managing to flip upwards as he delivers a hard kick to Doom's jaw, loosening the grip enough for the kid to get free and roll forward, tagging Aurora into the match. The Thrill Seeker is like a house on fire, rushing into the ring as she nails a running enziguri to the back of Doom's head. She rolls forward, right into a hard right by Hatchet, who rocks her with a forearm before locking in the double underhooks. Hocus! No! Aurora slides down his back. Hatchet turns around into a leaping head scissors. It sends the Juggalo flying across the canvas. He stumbles up onto his feet, into an arm drag, and then a second before she almost effortlessly dodges a lariat, cartwheeling away before mocking the annoyed Hatchet. Aurora showing a little bit of that abrasive personality here, but it may well backfire against such a dangerous foe in Hatchet. Hatchet rushes forward, trying for another lariat, but Aurora sees it coming. She goes down low. Drop, toe, hold the DTH. Aurora plants Hatchet's throat over the middle rope. She's not done. She rushes to the rope, springboarding off as he flips forward, holding his throat in pain. The Solar Storm, the running meteor to the seated Hatchet. I've had plenty of fine birds do that to me in my time. Shame for Hatchet the Aurora Borealis wasn't a little more open this time. Aurora gets to her feet, walking right into a hard right hand by Klaus, who double underhooks her, lifting Aurora up onto his shoulders. Cirque, no! Aurora flips out, grabbing hold of Klaus's wrist before flipping back with a huge drop kick that sends Way crashing to the mat. Aurora gets to one knee. The Scrambler, the brutal running knee out of nowhere, may have well knocked the Thrill Seeker out cold as he lifts her up onto his shoulders, looking to deliver some impending doom. But Aurora grabs the ropes. The Thrill Seeker refuses to die as she thwarts Doom's foul intentions. Doom trying his best to drive her into the canvas, but she's clinging on for dear life. Doom finally gets Aurora off the ropes, but the slingshot shot effect is enough for Aurora to slip out of the driver, flipping down as she grabs Doom by the head. Spike! DDT! Aurora drives Doom into the mat, and she's already rolling to her feet. The Thrill Seeker breathing hard. She rushes the ropes, leaping to the top rope as she flies off. The Northern lights out. I never tire of seeing that heavenly body soar. Aurora nails the picture-perfect twisting moonsault, but she doesn't get a chance to cover before Klaus Way tags out to Felix Foley. These boots were made for walking. Foley immediately takes Aurora down with a brutal big boot, nearly flipping the Thrill Seeker in midair with the sheer force of the move. Felix doesn't cover, instead kneeling down as he pulls Doom up to one knee, making sure his best buddy is okay. Doom doesn't look too happy with Felix, though, shaking his head at Foley, not following up before taking the hand to get to his feet. The double juggalo! Hatchet from behind nails both the besties with uppercuts to the balls, doubling them both over as he grabs the turtle Doom around the shoulder. Pony down! Doom gets driven over the juggalo's back with a sickening crack. Hatchet laughs sadistically, turning back around to a hurting Foley who he goes to pick up. Headbutt! Felix is absolutely nettled as he begins raining down heavy lefts and rights down onto the juggalo before lifting him into the ropes, or whipping him into the ropes. The spine on the pine. A beautiful spine buster nearly plants Hatchet through the mat, but Felix isn't done as he lifts the clown up, gripping him around the throat. Beal toss into the corner. Friendly is absolutely hyped up here. Could he be looking to show Hatchet his own personal tour of Felix Foley's corner here? Foley rushes forward, squashing Hatchet into the corner with a big avalanche splash, but before he can begin to stomp the clown dry, he's spiked into the mat. The poison rana from Aurora out of nowhere. Come on! Even he gets to feel Aurora's legs wrapped around him. I gotta get in that ring to get a part of the action. These Olympians would tear you apart the second you step through those ropes, Ruby. Foley doesn't stay down, instead stumbling back to his feet as he walks into a blind tag by Klaus, who leaps up to the top rope. Springboard, one-footed drop kick. Way nails Aurora with that unorthodox move before rolling forward into an onrushing Doom. The split, no! Way just avoids the gore as Doom nearly spears himself into the turnbuckles. The Doctor turns around into a pair of knees to the guts before he's lifted up. Cirque d'Olaire! Stormbreaker! Doom goes down hard as Klaus drops down for the lateral press. Staunton sliding in to make the count. It's 1. It's 2. It's 3? No! Doom just manages to get the shoulder up. Death pop! That damn juggalo out of nowhere with a brutal leaping forearm to the jaw. It may well have knocked Way out cold. I told you, Blackwood. Everybody gets down by the clown eventually. This is a fucking good match. Ollie, I hope you're enjoying then. Hatchet pulls Way up to his feet, rocking him with several knees to the midsection, before he drags him to his corner and tags in Gravedigger. Hatchet doesn't get out of the ring, though, double underhooking Way and lifting him up into a powerbomb, as Gravedigger climbs up to the top rope. No respect! The powerbomb / diving elbow drop combination. Way collapses to the canvas. Hatchet gets out of the ring as Gravedigger hooks both legs. Stanton slides in for the cover. It's a 1. It's a 2. It's a 3. Klaus Way has been eliminated. We have our first elimination here, as Klaus Way gets taken out by a double team maneuver by Hatchet and Gravedigger. These two make a deadly team, Ruby, but who will enter in Way's stead? Felix goes to rush in, fury in his eyes at the sight of Gravedigger, but Malachi immediately tags himself in. Foley looks annoyed, but he calms himself. Getting back on the apron as Gravedigger and Malachi stare each other down for a moment, before Midnight nods, gestures to the slowly rising Doom and Aurora, and seats himself in the corner. What the hell is this? It's every team for themselves. You can't just refuse to fight your allies because they're on opposite teams. Hey, it's called strategy, Blackwood. Malachi's going to sit back and let the other 3 tire themselves out before going in for the kill. Gravedigger rushes forward, nailing a groggy Doom with a brutal drop-dead jawbreaker knee before gripping him up. Never mind, no! No, Doom manages to slip out of the DDT, stumbling backwards into the Devil's Advocate. Spinning forearm to the back of the head drops Doom down to his knees. So much for strategy, Ruby. This is just a 6 feet under mugging in the making. Both Gravedigger and Midnight slowly approach Doom, Aurora flying out of the corner at them. Shovel, ready. Gravedigger nails the Thrill Seeker out of the sky with a sickening bullhammer elbow. Aurora collapses to the mat, rolling to the outside with a thump. Gravedigger shakes his head as he turns back to Doom, who smiles before twisting his wrist as drones surround the ring and begin to fire upon both Midnight and Gravedigger. The Mad Monologue. The smoke from the rockets begins to fill the ring, obscuring the vision of everyone for a moment, and as it begins to fade away, Doom is no longer in the ring, as Nox finally enters the contest. Get over here! A brutal short-arm clothesline nearly decapitates Midnight before Gravedigger rushes forward, Nox ducking underneath. Poison Mister! The shovel gets blinded by that devastating poison mist, completely legal for once in these contests. Where do these people get such wonderful toys? I gotta get me a few. Gravedigger is blinded, staggering back as he walks to a blind tag from Gemini. The Rogue rushes forward, leaping up as she tries for a Hurricane Rana, but Nox catches her, delivering a brutal powerbomb before lifting her up and spinning her around. The Paralytic Plex. Gemini gets dumped with the Snapdragon. Nox turns around into a running dropkick by Aurora, sending the Chemist flying through the air onto the turnbuckles as she rushes forward, flipping upwards with a hard kick to the jaw before grabbing him around the head. The Tornado DDT! Nox is spiked into the mat as Aurora collapses, clearly spent from her long time in the ring. She begins crawling to the corner, Midnight trying to catch her foot, but she stumbles up, nailing him with a hard enziguri before leaping forward at Destructo Boy's outstretched hand. But Jasper Redgrave pulls the kid off the apron. Aurora looks shocked as Jasper just shakes his head, mouthing to her, both her and the kid, "Not yet." What the hell is he doing? An unorthodox tactic by the artist here, but he may well be showing Aurora some tough love, make her prove she deserves to be on the winning team. Tough love? This sick prick just loves watching people in pain. Aurora shakes her head in frustration, not realizing Nox is behind her. The Paralytic Plex! The Snapdragon drops Aurora on the back of her head, but he barely lets her hit the canvas before rolling through, pulling both her arms around his legs and locking his hands around her mouth. It's the oxygen deprivation chamber! Nox has the recliner locked in tight, slowly sucking away the air in Aurora's lungs. But she's fighting. She's refusing to give in as she tries to crawl to the ropes. But Nox barely lets her get an inch more before leaping up and slamming her hard onto her back. She screams out in pain as he relocks the hold in, watching the life slowly fade away from the Thrill Seeker. Aurora's arm goes limp as Mills lifts it up. 1. He lifts it up again. 2. He lifts it a third time. Springboard drop kick to the back of Nox's head. Gemini broke the hold at the very last second. Big move of respect there from Gemini, who seemed to have a bit of kinship with Aurora, but very stupid in this type of matchup. If she hadn't interfered, there'd be one less person for her team to tangle with. She's not all there, Bronco, but it's exactly why she's my type of woman. I do love 'em young, dumb, and beautiful. Nox lets go of Aurora as the Thrill Seeker grasps for air. Gemini pounding down on Nox as she grabs his hand, springboarding up to the ropes as she walks forward. Nox ducks the Hurricane Rana again. Gemini turns around, Goozle, snap, backbreaker. Nox holds on, lifting Gemini up and delivering a second, then a third, then a fourth. The Chemist delivering backbreaker after backbreaker as he tries to break the Rogue's spine in half. But he's so focused on Gemini that he doesn't notice a struggling Aurora up on the top rope behind him. She leaps up, grabbing the rack of his head as she dives forward. Knee first. Aurora going after Nox. The Thrill Ride. Aurora's clearly a student of the game. I haven't seen that move in years, but that may be one of the deadliest attacks in Olympic history. Zach, I see what you've been doing here. I don't know if anybody else has, but I've seen it. Nox gets driven face first into the mat from the knee. The Chemist stunned on the mat as Aurora drops down for the cover. Stanton sliding in for the count. 1, 2, 3. Nox has been eliminated. Now 2 teams are down 1 competitor. With how bad Aurora looks, that may well change to 3 teams soon enough. Mr. Sunshine bounds in for his team, rushing forward as he nails Midnight with a big running clothesline, and a second before lifting him up onto his shoulders for the big airplane spin. Sunshine spins and spins and spins. Both men are incredibly groggy. Sunshine drops Malachi before stumbling back. Samoan drop! Sunshine finishes the dizzy game. He stumbles up, but he's still out on his feet as he staggers forward. High-low! Gemini and Aurora take Sunshine out with a high-flipping drop-kick, basement drop-kick combination. We got some girl power going on here, Ruby. These two looking very effective as a team. They do look great. I just can't decide what my two favorite things are, the pair on the left or the pair on the right. Sunshine rolls out of the ring as Midnight slowly staggers forward into a high-low of his own, before Aurora struggles to lift him up onto her shoulders for an electric chair. Gemini up on top. She sizes Midnight up. Aurora slightly stumbles backwards, and Jasper Redgrave tags us in. Oh, now this asshole wants into the match. Aurora looks annoyed, feeling the hand on her back, distracting her for a moment as Midnight manages to slip out of the chair. He pushes the Thrill Seeker forward. Super snapshot! Gemini accidentally nailed Aurora with the leaping code breaker. The Rogue looks shocked, trying to rouse Aurora up. She doesn't notice Redgrave behind her. The artist spins her around. The sanguine absurdism. The discus fucking lariat. Gemini gets turned inside out as Redgrave looks at Malachi, who just gestures with open palms and a smile. Redgrave chuckles before pulling Gemini up to her feet roughly. Kick! Wham! The symphony of symmetry! Beautiful pedigree by the artist here. Nothing beautiful about that savage, Ruby, but it definitely is effective. Redgrave turns the unconscious Gemini over, casually covering as Mills slides into count. 1, 2, say it ain't so. 3, Gemini has been eliminated. And just like that, we're down to 9 competitors. The only team to have all fighters left is the one who may well have alienated his teammates. Hatchet rushes into the ring, pounding down on Jasper Redgrave. But the artist manages to duck underneath a wild right, before sending the Juggalo into the ropes and delivering a hard lariat, sending him stumbling over the ropes to the outside. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Redgrave turns, just avoiding a rushing Malachi, as Mr. Midnight flies through the middle ropes onto Hatchet, leaving Redgrave all alone in the ring, but only for a few short moments, as Destructo Boy pulls him out of the ring. What the hell is that pipsqueak doing? Clearly, this hero has had enough of Redgrave's bullshit tonight. The kid lays into Redgrave verbally, berating him for not being a team player, as Redgrave just rolls his eyes, clearly mocking Jackson through his speech before he suddenly smirks, grabbing him by the collar and throwing him forward before rolling away. Just as Mr. Sunshine leaps over the top rope, everyone catch me! The flying crossbody wipes out Midnight, Hatchet, and Destructo Boy. Hey, the kid played sacrifice, but he was useful for something for once. Mr. Sunshine turns around into a stiff elbow to the jaw by Redgrave before he's lifted up onto the apron. Blood on the concrete, hanging DDT on the cold, unforgiving floor. The artist is a sick, sick man as poor Charlie is busted wide open from that devastating DDT. Redgrave pulls up the limp Sunshine, rolling him back into the ring before lifting up his slumped body. The symphony of symmetry. Redgrave hits that pedigree one more time as he flips over the unconscious Sunshine, casually covering while Mills slides in for the count. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Sunshine has been eliminated. Jasper Redgrave has eliminated another person. We're down to 8, and thanks to the artist, Doom is all by himself. Redgrave rolls to his feet, seeing both Hatchet and Malachi on the outside struggling, and Doom on the apron. He mockingly urges the doctor forward. Doom scowling before nodding. My right hand! Doom's fist rockets fly forward, clipping Jasper on the chin as the scientist slips into the ring, rushing forward, right into a super kick. Doom stumbles into the ropes, rebound off, into the spinning elbow, the collage of violence. Redgrave turns around into a big wig split, Hatchet rocking his bell as the Juggalo grips him from behind. Midnight slides into the ring, rushing forward at the held Redgrave. Clock strikes clown! Jasper slipped out of Hatchet's hold, and Malachi big boots the face paint right off the Juggalo. Malachi turns around, kick to the gut, before he finds himself lifted up high into the air and run forward. Vanishing point! The crucifix powerbomb into the turnbuckles. Malachi hits the steel with a thud as Felix Foley tags himself in, trying to go after Redgrave, but Jasper ducks underneath another big boot before nailing Foley with a hard clothesline. Foley stumbles up to his feet into a kick to the gut, but he manages to slip out of the double underhook, lifting Jasper up onto his shoulders. Bumped his no! Jasper slips out of the DVD, raising his hand as Foley turns around. Goozle! Splattered expressionism! The pop-up chokeslam. Jasper Redgrave is cleaning absolute house here, despite having an ungrateful bird and dumb kid on his team. He's clearly the favorite in my eyes. Redgrave looks around the ring at the fallen bodies before he gets an idea. Redgrave rolls out of the ring, looking underneath the apron as both Aurora and the kid try to get him to focus in on the ring. But the artist pushes them aside. He's looking for something special. It's a table. The artist slides it into the ring, setting it up in his corner before turning back around. As Doom, Foley, and Hatchet are all on their feet, looking at Redgrave with bloody murder in their eyes. You sure about that favorite tag, Ruby? Looks like the artist is about to get his own blood on the canvas. Redgrave backs away from the trios, turning to his partners as he tries to tag out, but both Destructo Boy and Aurora step off the apron and flip him off. Jasper yells in anger, turning back around. The splitter! Doom just gored Jasper Redgrave right through the table. It's the rules of wrestling, Bronco. You set up a table, you're most likely going through it. And unfortunately, Redgrave got greedy. Wood and metal go flying as over 400 combined pounds obliterate the table. Both men are down for a few moments before Doom finally pulls Redgrave out of the wreckage, flopping one arm over the artist as Stanton slides in to make the cover. 1, 2, and 3. Jasper Redgrave has been eliminated. And just like that, every team has an elimination. Hatchet and Gravedigger, Aurora and Destructo Boy, Felix Foley and Malachi Midnight, and Doom, who stands alone. Aurora looks like she's about to get into the ring, but the kid stops her, his vision firmly planted on the besties, Doom in particular. Destructo Boy slips into the ring, striding over as he and Doom go nose to nose. A lot of history here, a lot of bad blood. Two people who only a month or so ago thought the world of one another, but a simple choice ruined it all. The kid made a choice. He chose his criminal father over his real family, and he's got to suffer the consequences now. Hatchet just sits by watching these two eye each other down as Felix tries to get to the middle of both of them, playing peacemaker. There's no words exchanged, but from the softened glances, the hatred may well be extinguished a little bit. But a double lariat from Hatchet. The clown is clearly bored with this emotional bullshit. Destructo Boy is the first to stagger up to his feet, getting kicked in the gut before he's lifted up high. But the kid fights out of hocus pocus, delivering a few right hands before slipping down Hatchet's back and pushing him forward. Into the splitter! Hatchet gets nearly cut in half from that brutal gore. Doom rolling to his feet as he stares daggers at the kid, before looking up at the top rope and nodding. What's the plan here from the former pool boys? Are we getting one last hurrah here? What it is unfair. This is blatant bias by Mills Stanton against Juggalos here. How are they even allowed to triple team the man? Fatal four-way rules, Ruby. It's all legal in this matchup. The kid stares at Doom for a moment, before nodding as he heads up top. While the besties slowly stalk Hatchet, the clown staggers up to his feet. Foley lifts him up into a flapjack. The Doom Factory Death Device. The 3D. The besties drive Hatchet into the mat. They back away as Destructo Boy leaps off the top. My final breath. Destructo Boy isn't a coward as he nails the 630. The hero covers Hatchet as Mills slides in to make the count. 1, 2, 3. Hatchet has been eliminated. I feel like Zach just said, get fucked Dawson. Absolute shocking abuse of power there, but we're now down to the final 6. Gravedigger and Doom are by themselves. Aurora and Destructo Boy and Felix Foley and Malachi Midnight are together. Now hopefully that kid gets stomped out by Doom next. Doom and Foley stare at Gravedigger, the protege of Tombstone, who stands on the apron unmoving. Foley, still furious about the last few months, rushes over, pulling the shovel into the ring as Doom looks to back up his best buddy. Super kick to the back of the head. Destructo Boy out of nowhere with a brutal attack to Doom as he nails another to the kneeling doctor, knocking him down to the canvas before he begins to ground and pound his former mentor. Foley grips up Gravedigger, throwing him across the ring with a belly-to-belly suplex before seeing the kid brutalize his friend as he pulls him off. Foley doesn't attack. He just holds James back as he tries to talk some sense into the kid, showing them the true threat of Gravedigger, but the kid is wild and angry as he lashes out. He elbows Foley in the side of the skull. Foley staggers back. He's in shock. The kid is in shock as he goes to check on Foley, but he barely gets a few feet before he's tackled from behind as Doom slams him down onto the mat, face first. Well, the kid screwed up again. You know what happens when you mess with Doom's best buddy. Doom is in a relentless fury, pounding down heavy lefts and rights on the prone Destructo Boy, the gauntlets on his hands busting and breaking the skin below the mask, as a heavy right may well have knocked the kid senseless. Doom sits up, his gauntlets sparking as he looks to finish this little bastard once and for all. He lifts him up high, looking for the electrified hammer blow. Thunk! The kid blocks it at the last second, thanks to the Kingdom Blade. Metal does indeed block electricity here tonight. Hacks! I call hacks. That cannot be illegal. Or that cannot be legal. Destructo Boy manages to push Doom off him, staggering to his feet with the blood clutched in both hands. He considers it for a second, before holding his hands together and flicking his wrists, as the blade seemingly melts and covers both his hands, to the wrists like makeshift gauntlets. Like mentor, like protege. It's time for an old-fashioned fist fight, folks. Both men rush forward, pounding down on one another as Doom seemingly has the upper hand with a hard right hook. But Destructo Boy is a lot quicker than the Doctor is, as he dodges the follow-up blow before leaping upwards, yelling out as he does so, Shoryuken! The leaping uppercut. Oh my god, I'm watching a nerd beat up a genius. Foley tries to step in, but Gravedigger is on his feet, as the two begin to start their own furious battle. Lefts, rights, and every blow imaginable is thrown between these two, as Gravedigger swings forward. Shovel, no! Foley catches the elbow, spinning Gravedigger around before delivering a hard lariat. He roughly pulls the shovel up to his feet, before Beal tossing him into the corner. Destructo Boy spins a groggy Doom around, looking for that backdrop driver, but Doom manages to slip out, delivering a brutal elbow to the back of the head that drops Kid to his knees before he grabs him by both hands. Kneel before Doom! The pulling knee to the skull. Destructo Boy looks out of it as he's pulled up to his feet, and just like Gravedigger, Beal tossed into the opposite corner, as Doom and Foley look at one another and nod. The besties are about to show these men just whose corner it is. The besties' corner! Both Doom and Foley stomp a mud hole dry as Gravedigger and Destructo Boy get driven down into the corner. Foley lifts Gravedigger up, placing him in the tree of woe, as Doom lifts Destructo Boy up from behind. Foley backs up as Doom flips the kid upside down. Foley's funhouse. Doom is eternal, but Gravedigger flips up just in time as Foley baseball slides himself into the bottom buckle. Destructo Boy flips out of the Omega Driver. Doom turns around into a furious flurry of blows from Destructo Boy, before a flip kick to the jaw drops Doom to his knees. The kid rushes to the ropes, bouncing off. Justice Barrage! That brutal strike combinationing in a Shining Wizard may have knocked Doom out cold, but the kid's not done. He's looking to fly once more. Oh god, this ingrate can't eliminate Doom. Somebody do something. Destructo Boy settles on the top rope for a moment before jumping off, but the clock strikes midnight. Malachi big boots Destructo Boy out of the goddamned air. Stupid kid. What in the hell is he doing? He's not even a legal participant. Why is he getting involved in someone else's elimination? Hey, it's like you said, BB, everything's legal. Just because no one else interfered for their team doesn't mean Malachi shouldn't. Midnight picks the fallen Doom up, placing him over the knocked-out Destructo Boy before getting back onto the apron. Mills just shrugs before dropping down and counting the fall. 1, 2, and 3. Destructo Boy has been eliminated. Gravedigger smirks, watching Aurora as she still looks very worse for wear on the apron. He slowly walks forward, looking like he's about to pull her over the ropes, but he suddenly gets spun around by Foley, who unloads upon Gravedigger with a furious onslaught of punches and kicks, before nearly busting him open with a furious headbutt. Foley unleashing out all his rage here. Gravedigger may not have been the one to kill his brother and father, but sins of the mentor, sins of the protege. Foley watches Gravedigger slowly get to his feet as he rushes to the ropes, bouncing off. Devil's Advocate! Malachi nails Foley with the spinning forearm to the back of the head. Foley stumbles forward in pain, right into the clutches of the Gravedigger. Cradle to the grave. The GTS. What is this bullshit? Malachi may have just eliminated his own teammate. I'm sure it was an accident. Midnight clearly just tripped. Trip my ass. This was a setup from the very beginning. Foley crashes to the mat. Unconscious as Gravedigger gleefully covers. Mills sliding in for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Felix Foley has been eliminated. And then there were 4. 1 competitor apiece. Doom, Aurora, Malachi Midnight, and Gravedigger. And judging by the last few moments, 6 Feet Under may well sweep this match. Ah, damn. This is a fire match. Doom slowly staggers to his feet into a flurry of lefts and rights from both Midnight and Gravedigger. 6 Feet Under absolutely punishing the Doctor here as they send him flying into the ropes. The Doctor ducking underneath a double clothesline attempt before falling to one knee. Springboard double leg drop kick. Aurora out of nowhere leaps off Doom's back and takes down 6 Feet Under. We're down to the final 4 here, folks. 1 team each, as Doom, Aurora, Gravedigger, and Malachi Midnight are left. But from the looks of it, it may well be Doom, Aurora versus 6 Feet Under here. Aurora pulls Doom up to his feet. They nod at each other before they rush forward. The shovel ready, the bullhammer to Doom. The Devil's Advocate, the spinning forearm to Aurora. 6 Feet Under are cleaning house here. Tombstone is absolutely going to be pleased when one of these two win tonight. Midnight kicks Doom to the outside as both men turn to Aurora, roughly pulling her up to her feet as Midnight rocks her with a headbutt before gripping her around the throat, locking in the claw. Blood begins to seep down Aurora's neck. Ugh. Those thick fingernails slicing away the flesh. But Midnight doesn't just choke her out. He begins to bend her spine over his knee, all while holding the choke in place. Gravedigger begins to climb up to the top as Aurora tries to fight out of it, but she can barely breathe, let alone overpower Malachi. Susan Christ, this isn't gonna be pretty. Final resting place, the choke breaker diving elbow drop combo. That's it for Fair Aurora here. A similar move put away Klaus earlier, and there ain't no way she's kicking out here. Malachi lets go of the chokehold, throwing her off his knee as he places it on her chest for the cover. Mills sliding in to make the cover. 1, 2, is this it? 3? No, Aurora kicks out. The Thrill Seeker is a survivor here tonight. She refuses to die here in this ring. 6 Feet Under looks shocked as the crowd begins a single chant that erupts throughout Olympus. Clap, clap, go Aurora, clap, clap. Okay, I ain't gonna do the chant, I don't do the crowds. These fans have fallen in love with Aurora here tonight, and from this amazing performance, who can blame them? 6 Feet Under art fans, though. Scowling, they lift Aurora up, looking to finish her off. Watch my fists! Doom lets both hands fly, delivering a flying punch to both 6 Feet Under. Both 6 Feet Under are stunned. Doom lets the fists fly back before delivering a pair of lariats to both men. He's unleashing everything he has left, but a simple headbutt from Gravedigger stops the assault as 6 Feet Under begin pounding down on him once more. 6 Feet Under getting their kicks in, but where's Aurora gone? The Northern Lights out! Aurora out of nowhere, with a Twisted Bliss taking out all 3 men. She rolls to her feet. The crowd is still chanting her name. She pulls Doom up, nodding at the Doctor. The pair stalk the fallen 6 Feet Under, waiting for them to get to their feet. And it's a double roll-up. Doom with Gravedigger, Aurora with Midnight. Both men fight underneath as Mills slides to count. But before he starts, Gravedigger reverses the pinfall, rolling up Doom instead. 1, 2, 3. Malachi Midnight has been eliminated. Doom has been eliminated. Only 2 teams remain. Will it be the team of Gravedigger, Hatchet, and Gemini fighting for the championship opportunity? Or will Aurora, Destructo Boy, and Jasper Redgrave be facing off for the #1 contendership? Aurora rolls to her feet, immediately rushing forward as she nails Gravedigger with a hard enziguri to the back of the head, dropping him down to one knee before she bounces off the ropes, springboarding forward. Solar Storm! The running Meteora hits hard as Aurora rolls through, slow and catching her breath, but she fights through the pain. The crowd still heavily on her side, as she slowly climbs up to the top rope, looking for that moonsault once more. Gravedigger manages to shake the ropes. Just that tad too slow, babe. Can't let up for a moment against someone as dangerous as Gravedigger. Aurora collapses onto the steel, managing to hold herself on top, but she's winded as Gravedigger slowly rises to her feet. Walking over and up the turnbuckles as Aurora tries to kick him off. He swats a kick away before reaching up. Into the goozle. Not this way. He can't think of doing this. On your fucking way. Gravedigger taking a page out of his mentor's book as he delivers a thunderous chokeslam from the top rope. That's it. No way she can survive that. Gravedigger drops down to one knee, planting a single hand on the unconscious Aurora's chest as Mills slides to make the count. 1, 2, 3. Gravedigger has done it! He's survived this brutal chain reaction matchup as he now moves on alongside Gemini and Hatchet to a match in the near future that will be for the #1 contendership. And from what we've seen here, Gravedigger's got more than a greater chance of winning that match and getting one step closer to bringing the World Championship back to 6 feet under. For Arcadia's sake, I pray you're wrong there, Ruby. Your winners, Gravedigger, Gemini, and Hatchet. At the beginning of game night, I said Gravedigger is going to carry me and Dawson to the win here. Yes, this was a phenomenal match. Amazing job, Zach. Well, that's the way the match was written. I know that. Oh, shit. Really? Hell yeah. Nice. That's awesome. Right on. Right on. All right. What a hell of a match. I am demolished here. But as always, I'm sure there's more to come. We should probably have a segment here following this up. We do. It is called the House of Judgment. That sounds intense. With that incredible match over, Gravedigger gets back to his feet in celebration. Lifting his arms into the air as Digging My Own Grave by Nikamnar blares into Olympus. Malachi, Midnight, and Tombstone rush to join him, meeting him in the middle of the ring. As they celebrate, Gravedigger's music is quickly cut off by TGIF by K-Flay. Hang on a minute. That's Hydra. Hydra are marching to the ring. What do you expect? Tombstone kidnapped Narcissa and tried to force her to marry him. This is the only outcome. Zeus, El Mariachi Muerte, Gemini, and Narcissa enter the ring, standing opposite 6 feet under. You didn't bring a big enough army, Tombstone growls at him. The Baron shrugs his shoulder as other music hits. Whose music is this? It's For the Glory. Jackson Cade, George Cade, and CJ Thorpe. The Cades are here. They step out onto the entrance ramp, their eyes focused on 6 feet under. I bet that scumbag Malachi is regretting his actions now, Matt. He set these brothers up, and revenge is a dish best served alongside the Baron of Arcadia. I can't believe it. I'm actually happy to see them. Protect Zeus at all costs. All three storm down the ramp and slide into the ring, standing opposite 6 feet under, who now find themselves stood in the middle of Hydra and the Cade family. And there they are. There they are. A sore spot for 6 feet under right now. They're hugely outnumbered. It's 7-3. You were saying? Zeus cockily asks. You shouldn't have taken my wife hostage, you son of a bitch. If your people love death so much, how'd you like to meet him? Tombstone grimaces. Gravedigger looks towards Cade. Tombstone towards Zeus. Malachi towards Gemini. Leaping knee to CJ Thorpe. What the fuck? They're outnumbered 7-3. Gravedigger is just snapped. Tombstone grabs George. Malachi with a big boot to Jackson Cade. The midnight hour. Get him, Zeus, get him! But Zeus doesn't. What the fuck? No! Tombstone chokes George Cade, spinning him around to face Zeus, forcing him to kneel before the Baron. Are you kidding me? Oh, what a plan! Zeus smirks, looking down at his former friend. You know what? I asked for your help. It was a litmus test. I needed to know who had my back, who I could trust. You failed the test, George. Slap. George Cade is furious. His face is like thunder as the fans boo. El Mariachi Muerte, Gemini and Narcissa rush to stomp away at Jackson Cade and CJ Thorpe, beating them to within an inch of consciousness as George washes on in horror and disdain. Stop this! Stop this, goddammit! This is unbelievable! How smart is Zeus? He planned this whole thing, Bronco. And it gets a bit worse, Zeus says with a shrug of nonchalance. I told Harold what you did. What? What he did? What's that supposed to mean? George struggles against Tombstone, but not for long. The ferryman pulls him back to his feet and straight into wrapping a hand around his throat. For whom the bell tolls. The chokeslam. Straight to fucking hell. The Baron applauds, clapping his hands in appreciation as the conglomerate of wrestlers inside the ring come back to his side. The Cade family has been destroyed. The OSW World Heavyweight Champion brutalized. Meet the House of Judgment, Zeus tells the world with a smile, and the house always wins. They boo. What a formidable group. Tombstone and 6 Feet Under have joined with Hydra to form the House of Judgment. I bet George Cade wishes he'd given Zeus his help when he asked for it just a few weeks ago. Zeus just betrayed one of his oldest friends, Ruby. George used to work for the man. He owed him. Tombstone kidnapped his wife and threatened to marry her. How the hell can he condone or explain this? Someone needs to tell me why. Static. Cut. Stop symbol. This show is over. Zeus has now joined with Tombstone in the weirdest twist. They're the House of Judgment. The house always wins. The Cades have been decimated. What a finale to a phenomenal show. Hot damn. Hell of a way to end the show. You're damn right. Oh, man. I have no idea if my mic is picking it up or not, but outside of my office, the kids are watching TV and are singing some song. It is. Great. I have no idea why they're doing this. Yes, amazing show. Amazing show. I'm really glad to get the opportunity to read this and showcase why we're the innovators in this field. Thank you guys. Dean, you wrote most of this as far as segments go and a match. And everybody who wrote matches, just phenomenal work as always. We set the standard for a reason, so that's great. So we'll go ahead and get off of here. I assume we'll have a little bit of chat going on in the got to go. We've got to have a little bit of chat in the server. Before I sign us off, I do think that definitely have to say, send a shout out to one of our handlers, Robbie. Just let him know that we're thinking about him, and just want to make sure the love is known. But we'll go ahead and sign off of here, and we'll see y'all next time for Ring King in a couple months.